What's going on, family? Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional evening. It's been a long weekend. Hope you made it through. As I say, it's all good in the neighborhood. Everything's chicken with the bone because my black butt is at home. If you know what I mean. All right. So today's topic is 2025 is the forget you generation. I really mean the F you generation, but to keep it, clean on YouTube because I don't need to get any strikes. I've already had one strike. Definitely don't need any more. If you feel me. So luckily I was in a good spirits enough to the point where I didn't have to worry about that strike counting went away. So I stayed on the good side of YouTube, and I'm trying to stay on the good side of YouTube. But anyways, probably people are like, why do I say that we're living in the FU generation right now? Well, so yesterday, as I took a little time off, because I was, driving around, I was very busy. I made the mistake when I was at a restaurant of scrolling on social media, because that's what one does when they're in an area, whether they're with somebody or without somebody. That's just what we do now. And I saw people making fun of people losing their jobs. Online. Now, usually I don't pay attention to the comments on any social media platform. But I didn't think that we would get to the point where, as a society, specifically in America, that we would get into the point of making fun of people losing their jobs. From federal government employees to now teachers, people in corporate America, lots of people losing their jobs. Lots of people's quality of life has gone or is going to go to crap right now. And I don't find anything funny about that. And it reminds me of the year 2007, 2008. Now, I'm 42 years old. I remember I was in my 20s back then. I didn't understand the U.S. economy compared to the way I understand it now. I didn't even understand money in the aspects of how I understand it now. I understood that money had to be invested, but I wasn't as intelligent and knowledgeable in regards to how things work within the stock market, how the stock market affects the economy, how the economy affects the stock market, et cetera, and so forth. I was not privy to that information because it's not like I didn't read, but I was younger. Number two, I wasn't even really surrounded by men who understood. A lot of people have a retirement plan and don't really even understand how a retirement plan works. They have a 401k plan. They don't even understand how a 401k plan works, individual retirement account works. What they do, they don't want to explain it to you. If they try to explain it to you, they try to make it sound like they're a freaking professor and can't make the simple things in life very practical. So as I got older, I developed a better level of understanding in regards to doing these things. Because as obviously, if you've watched my content enough, I always say make money moves, but you're going to live like a fool, because money is very important, and it's way more important in today's world than it ever has been, because the scarcity of it is becoming bigger and bigger because of the cost of living, i.e. inflation, i.e. rent, and the only good thing I can really say about today's time frame is like you got Democrats and Republicans taking off right now. From the heartland of Arkansas to the big city of Los Angeles and New York City, a lot of people are ticked off. And the only brain dead idiots are like, well, these people are paid. And it's just like, look, if people care about their pocketbooks and the quality of life and well-being, it doesn't get more American than that. And if you mess with somebody's quality of life, I don't care who's in office, I don't care who's running to be in office, you're not going to be you're not going to be popular, and you're not going to be a person that people count on and say hooray for. I've been saying for the last specifically 5 years, it doesn't really matter what's going on in the White House. Governor's house is all about what you're doing in your house. In today's world, what have a lot of working people been doing in their house? Because I don't think it's funny that anyone's doing their job. I don't think it's funny that the opportunity of people becoming homeless or having to move in with their kids, or their kids having to move in with them, that's not funny. I remember 2007, 2008, when the economy went to crap, when the stock market tanked, housing market went to crap, jobs started disappearing. A lot of those jobs never even came back. It wasn't a funny time. It didn't affect me at the time. Luckily, the job I had was secure, and it was still the Iraq war days. So, being a part from the DMV areas to being a part of the DMV industry, known as Department of Defense, helping the troops. Nothing but love and respect to our United States military. Support in the war efforts and whatnot. That was a real wartime. But things were so bad at the time that a lot of Americans, in order for them to get a decent paying job, they had to go to Iraq or Afghanistan as a government contractor because they couldn't find a decent job where they lived at. And like one guy I know, his name is Reggie. He made a lot of money during that time frame. A lot of people did during the government contracting era. Because he was able to sustain himself, his family, create businesses, buy real estate, and things of that nature. And he's reaping the benefits off of doing things like that, buying cryptocurrency, et cetera, and so forth. And one of the main reasons why I started making content and doing YouTube is it wasn't for popularity. Because let's be realistic. If you've seen my channel, you see what I talk about. It's not the most glamorous stuff, number one. Number two, it's not the most popular stuff, But I didn't make the channel to do all that, because I know, because in today's world, if a person's entertaining or half naked, they're gonna get way more views. One, a lot of people, that's what they want to see when they get on social media. Number two, that's what the algorithm pushes. I.e., they do a good job of keeping people stupid. So that's one thing. But another thing is, I did this because I was like, something in the back of my mind said that hard times like this is going to come about in regards to job losses, cost of living being ridiculous. And I'm not going to ever say that at the time when I had this mindset, I never thought a president or a corporation would purposely try to cause these things to take place. But I knew these things that would happen again, the emergency funds, being able to have assets that you can pull resources from, i.e. stocks, bonds, real estate, cryptocurrencies, individual retirement accounts, 401ks, annuities, whatever the case may be, whatever investment vehicle one has put their money into, can you pull resources from that for hard times? And still to this day, most working Americans don't have $1,000, $3,000 to their name in savings to pull money from in case an emergency happens. Don't even have that much in regards to a credit card in case an emergency happens. And we're living in a time frame now where those kind of emergencies are normal, especially if one is a homeowner, one has a car, having to spend $500 to $3,000 within that radius of amount of money, up to $5,000. It's normal to get these things, get work done on these specific things. Lord forbid you have a medical emergency. Medical bills can eat you up and suck you dry. But the FU generation really comes from, it's all about me, the self-entitlement. One of my former co-workers, Mrs. Norma Jean, rest her soul, she passed away when she was 77 years old. She lived life to the fullest. In the last year, 6 months to a year that she spent on this planet, she had a sickness that took her away from here. But that woman lived her life. And it was sad that she had to work until she was the age of 77 years old. But I think her goal was to work until she was 80 years old. And I'm glad I had the pleasure to meet her. The one thing, I can say this regardless of the situation, no matter how much technology we have in this world, it still never takes away human contact. Human contact, whether it's a relationship or friendship, to me, now maybe other future generations it can take away from, but for me, it's nothing like being around good people and be able to engage with them on an intellectual level, or even on a fun level and having a good time and whatnot. Nothing beats that. I was at a restaurant last night and seeing a person perform live. If I saw a robot do that, it would do nothing for me. But to see a human being actually do that was amazing. But more of the FU generation is taking place because, as a co-worker / friend of mine said, this is very unsustainable if you have all these people losing their jobs, whether it's in the public sector or the private sector. because, you know, and I've explained this 1,000 times, if people can't pay their bills, then that affects corporate America. And if people can't pay their bills, that affects state and local governments and the federal government, because then that means there's less people contributing to the pot of the local, state, and federal government. And that means less people contributing to the pot of corporate America in regards to paying bills, whether it's water bills, electric bills, cell phone bills, you know, credit card bills. You know, more defaults will take place. And that's why I said we're living in the, I just feel like 2025 has become the year of the FU generation. And not FU in a good way, but FU in a very, very, very bad way. Like, screw you, who cares about you? It's all about me. And we're seeing more and more of that nowadays. And it's not good. It's like I said, I feel for a lot of today's youth that are going into college, they're stepping out in this world because, you know, they're seeing the FU generation. You know, it ain't pretty. You know, or of course it has to, you know, people, you know, have to be a part of a specific organization to feel camaraderie. You know, because one thing I can say with all sincerity is that the good thing about the United States military is the camaraderie that takes place within the United States military. And that's one thing a lot of people miss when they leave the military, no matter what branch of service that one is in. They miss feeling that energy of connectivity and being a part of something bigger than themselves, being able to reach back to people that matter, knowing that people have their back, regardless of the situation. And, you know, to me, that's just one of the saddest things of it. That you see less and less of that. You see less and less of community. You have more and more neighborhoods. You have more and more neighborhoods and less community. But, and then of course you have people that are part of, you know, spiritual, religious organizations. I'm not a big fan of church, never have been, maybe never will be, but I've always been a fan of people who live true within their convictions and whatever their faith may be. I always respect it, even though if I'm not a quote unquote the same believer as you may be, but I always respect people's religious, spiritual beliefs, whatever the case may be. But that sort of fellowship that actually happens in church, it's needed a lot of times, because especially we are living in one of the most loneliest times in the world. Now people are more connected than ever because of, you know, technology, i.e. the computers I'm utilizing, social media platforms I'm utilizing, you know, cell phones, you know, things of that nature. But yet and still people are more disconnected than ever. And heck, I always say I engage more with, when it comes to guy friends, I engage more with people that don't even live in my home state, because shout out to my UL University family, because these men, we have the same mindset. We have the same cojones, you know, in regards to like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to work hard. We're going to play hard. We're going to move forward. Excuse me. We're not scared to think outside of the box, live outside of the box. You know, a lot of people I grew up with, you know, might as well be spitting in the wind. They've turned into distant Facebook friends. They might as well be, you know, how a lot of people have people that they follow on social media or that they're friends with on Facebook that they never talked to, and they never met, and they probably will never talk to them, and probably will never meet them. But that's how a lot of the people that I've grown up with have become, and it's not a bad thing. That just means we've all moved on. We've evolved from each other. I found community in other aspects and other areas thanks to the internet, been able to, you know, to utilize a digital device known as an app. Shout out to UL University, and being able to connect with people by going to things like InvestFest. So I don't feel like I'm living in as much of a FU generation that we live in right now. You know, that's the deal. Okay, and that's what I said. It's like, it's very interesting and humbling all at the same time. And I don't think it's all around the world. I don't think it's all around the United States of America, but I know it's definitely a lot. It's very big and very real on the East Coast, DMV area, New York City specifically. And I think with the pandemic, it's intensified even more so. And I think that even outside of the pandemic, it's intensified even more so. Because the one thing I can say with all sincerity, no matter as far as if you go to politics, no matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, remember that these people don't live in the same neighborhoods as you live in. These people don't have the same words as you have. And these people, and I'm talking about, when I say you, I'm talking about regular, everyday working people. These people are great actors and actresses. Trust and believe that. Whether you want to believe me or not. Okay. Whether you want to believe me or not, that's up to you. But these people are great actors and actresses. And they do a great job. I think they should all get freaking an Emmy and Grammy and all the other awards out there because they put on a great show. And a lot of people, once again, people love to be entertained. People love to be entertained. So I can't not, you know. Because, I was talking to a friend of mine. I was just like, how it's crazy how we see how Hollywood and the entertainment industry is dead because they put out garbage. And great example, during, back in my day, in the entertainment industry, you had to, and when a movie came out, you really had to go out and promote it like that. And the movie would stay out longer than a week or two. And most of the movies back during that time frame were movies that actually meant something and said something and actually had a real, story behind it. We weren't overindulged in fantasy world. That's one thing the problem really is with music in the entertainment industry today. We are overly indulging ourselves in a fantasy world. Because basically we're being put to sleep in a sense. Because, when we're asleep and we dream about something, we fantasize about something, we could be the king, we could be the president, we could be a billionaire, we could want to be Elon Musk, we could want to be Jeff Bezos. But when you wake up to the reality, I think, because so many people live in a fantasy world, then these people, they get stuck in this fantasy. So when they actually have to deal with reality, it makes them sad. And that's why you see a lot more people walking around here with a lot more despair, unfortunately, because they can't deal with the reality, and that's what makes it sad, But, will there be light at the end of the tunnel? I think there will be, just because there has to be. I have to put it like that. I think there will be just because it has to be. Light at the end of the tunnel. This thing called life. But will the FU generation persist? Absolutely. I think it will persist. I think it will grow. Because the best way to keep people stagnated and where they're at is to keep them at each other's throats. And I can't put it any other way. If everybody's at each other's throats, then you can't see what the real problem is. Who the real enemy is. I won't even say the words enemy. I'll say you'll see who your real adversaries are. And the worthy adversary is going to continuously take little stabs at you to torture you just enough to stay alive, and to make it think that it's somebody else, and then laugh at you in the corner. And that's real. I really can't put it any other way. So 2025 is definitely the FU culture, the FU generation. Forget about you. It's all about me. Generation, culture. Fake culture, people being faker than ever. People are more broker than ever, but yet and still people are trying to floss more than ever. And to the all I can say is to the young people. I remember Nipsey said this. God rest his soul, Nipsey Hussle, and he said, they said, what would you tell a young guy in today's world? Remember, he was in his late 20s, early 30s. And they interviewed him, and he was 33 years old, I believe, and he was killed, unfortunately. Shout out to my Los Angeles people too. I'll be out there this week. Marathon Burger, here we come. Shout out to Black Sam and the rest of the Marathon team. But yeah, he said that, hey man, stop messing around with a bunch of females. Get your money right, get your hustle right, level up. Just focus on leveling up. He said, because if the females are worth it, they'll always be there. But if they're not worth it, then you move on with your life. And I would say that to any young man or female in today's world, because that's where we're at. Don't allow people to waste your time. Don't allow people to bring your vibe down. Don't allow people to suck you dry. Because we're living in the FU generation. Find your tribe and stick with it. Only let those that are contributing something in and allow you to grow, and you allow yourself to help them grow at the same time. Carlos Miller from 5150 show. No, my bad. 85 South show. 5150. That's my boy Corey Oak. He said, I can't be around no men that ain't trying to talk about getting some money. He said, I've learned, because he's from Mississippi. Shout out to Mississippi. I love going to Mississippi. He said, I can't be around men who just want to sit around and be broke and lazy and bummy. He's like, it don't make sense to me. And I was like, you know what? I got to agree with that. Yeah, this is like, I've been around enough bummy guys in my life, and I know I don't want to go back. I've been around a bunch of fools that ain't talking about nothing, and I don't want to go back. I've been around enough people that think flossing is just having an overpriced car and bragging about crap that means nothing. I'm straight. Straight up and down. Okay? Straight up and down. It's like I've been around that enough as a teenager. And I think that's why I became more of a loner as an adult, especially when it comes to being around other men, because I'm just like, oh, if you want some bum stuff, and I really had to learn that in my early 20s, I gotta get the hell away from you. If you think it's cool to struggle and be basic, I gotta get the hell away from you. Because it took me a long time to get to where I'm at now. What the heck am I doing around people that don't want nothing out of life except to smoke blunts, get drunk, and talk about sports and talk about how good life was back in the day? I'll pass. Excuse me. I'll pass on that. Specifically, those are the people that are going to get thrown away. Excuse me. Now I'm going to sneeze when I'm on there. Those are the people that are going to get tossed to the wayside. Even more so, unfortunately, in today and tomorrow's economy, because of the cost of living, the lack of job opportunities. I can't put it any other way. And rest in peace to George Foreman. Like I said, I'm not a sports guy. 76 years old, but he was very talented. I remember I never saw the life story history of it. I saw his documentaries. And I remember when I was a child, he had a TV show on. And I remember my mother and brother owning a George Foreman grill. So shout out to George Foreman and his family. My deepest condolences. But it's just, we're in some interesting times. And either the forget about your generation is going to grow, or the forget about your generation is going to stagnate, or hopefully the forget about your generation deteriorates more and more every day. But because here's one reality check that most Americans are in right now, working Americans are in right now. You knocked on the immigrants for having 2 to 3 families up in one house and having 15 cars in front of one house. But those people, no matter where they came from, were buying real estate and opening businesses up and supporting one another and not having to pay full price for most things. Because they understand the American dream involves money at the end of the day, and then all that other stuff. And they did this out of survival, but then first it was survival, then it was out of thriving. And now most regular working people are going to have to do that themselves in 2025 and beyond, because they cannot afford the cost of living, unless the economy just collapses like it does back in 2007 and 2008. That's the only way I personally see the cost of living going down. Specifically, I won't say from an inflationary standpoint when it comes to goods and services, but I will say from a cost of homes and cost of rent situation. Because more and more Americans are going to have to, young people will have to move back in with their parents. A lot of parents have to move in with their kids because the cost of living is ridiculous. And no matter if you're part of the FU generation or not, you're going to have backups, and you're going to have people there for you, because this Lone Ranger thing in the United States of America is diggity dead right now. So that's all I got. I'm ready to call it a night. Hopefully you guys have a great, exceptional day. This is where we're at. The forget about your generation. Either you're going to survive. Hopefully you got to survive. And you got to do your best to thrive. And for more and more working people, it's harder to do. So remember,
don't hate the player, hate the game.
See you next time, family. Most likely I won't go live again until I get back from my trip. So do the great thiefy things, like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual retirement account investor, don't forget to check out WEBULL Stash. Crypto, Acorns, Crypto.com. All those platforms, you'll be able to make some money moves once you sign up with them. But you don't live like a fool. On that note, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc., and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc., and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot, to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc., and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off the package purchases and make money off of the crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another, and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels, so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program, and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day.